about the Real Housewives of Miami. We've got Guerdy, we've got Larsa, and apparently the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. So this is according to page 6. It says Larsa Pippen claps back at Guerdy, calling her, quote, the fakest housewife. Okay. Let me see if I can play this. Let me know if you guys can hear this. One sec. If not, wait, hold on. We'll just have to let that one ride. Dun, 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 dun. All right, you guys, like the video while it's loading. Did you guys hear it? Anyway, that was from page 6, but let's get back. She said Larsa and her husband was looking fine. So Larsa Pippen called out for her Real Housewives of Miami co-star Guerdy for labeling her, quote, the fakest. Pippen clapped back via Twitter on Saturday, accusing her fellow cast member of faking the most tears. Now that is the image that's on the screen. So I'm gonna read it. If you can't see it, don't worry. The model 48 also referred to Guerdy's shade as, quote, hilarious, calling the 45-year-old stylist bored. Pippen's tweet came one day after Guerdy slammed her during a live taping of Page Six's virtual reality tea podcast. When asked who she thought was the fakest housewife of them all on Friday night, Guerdy responded, well, crap, yeah, it's going to be Larsa. The reality star went on to claim that Andy Cohen screamed at Pippen during their season 5 reunion taping because of a disagreement over the word bastard. Okay, side note. I believe this because don't forget, remember last season, not season 5, but season 4, okay? Remember when Larsa and is it Julie and Julia got into a big fight because Larsa basically called her daughters bastards because she had got pregnant out of wedlock? That was a whole situation that got kicked up, right? Like Larsa was like, I wouldn't want to have bastard children or something like that, in reference to the fact that Julia's children were born out of wedlock. Now, I agree this would happen between her and Andy because what does she think about Andy's children? Are they bastards because he's raising them as a single dad? Or is she saying bastards is only if the father isn't in it? I don't know. I'm interested to see how this goes down, but I believe it. Guerdy explained that the viewers will see what happens at the reunion, but teased, well, the argument was over the definition of a child out of wedlock. Is that called a bastard or is that not? Because don't forget, Andy's own children, he's a single dad. It's literally like trying to move forward, and there's a misunderstanding about what the content of some of the context are, she continued. Pippen also responded to this allegation via Twitter, quipping, was she even there? The reunion, which is scheduled to stream on Peacock in 2 parts on March 3rd and 10th, made headlines last month after Cohen, 54, issued a public apology to Pippen for shouting. We're still shooting, and I didn't have screaming at Larsa on my bingo card today, the Watch What Happens Live host said in a January 26th Instagram story video. Pippen could be heard asking the Bravo exec from Out of the Frame whether he was going to apologize, to which he responded, I'm sorry, Larsa. Cohen added, I don't like screaming at women. I said it on a break. I don't want to scream at women. Dun, 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 dun. What do you guys think about that? Do we think that, Larsa is the fakest housewives on The Real Housewives of Miami? But to be honest, I also agree with Larsa's clapback. I'm not going to lie. This might be an unpopular opinion. I really do like Guerdy, but I think Larsa and Guerdy both are very fake. When Guerdy gets over the top, just like Larsa said, and she's like hyperventilating and crying and like talking really loud and getting all over emotional, I too think that's fake. I think they're both fake, to be honest. But I think they're coming from two different places with the fakeness, right? Like, I think that Guerdy, as she continues to get more comfortable and more confident and more secure, I think she's going to calm down a lot more. And I think once Guerdy calms down and sort of just settles into herself, I think that fakeness will go away. Whereas I think we call Larsa fake because, Larsa, wanted to be a Kardashian. She has the lips and the butt and the this and the that and all of that stuff going on and the OnlyFans. So it's almost more like we call her fake because it's like that plasticky fake, if that makes sense. I do think that Larsa is still going through something, with the divorce from Scotty, starting over, all of that stuff. I do think she's probably still going through stuff. So I don't think that Larsa is actually as happy as she says she is. To be honest, I think a lot of the housewives aren't as happy as they are pretending to be. Like Alexia, I don't think Alexia is as happy as she's pretending to be. She's been very miserable and very mean and very bitter this season. I don't think she's as happy as she's pretending that she is. Marisol, Marisol, I love her. She has the good one-liners and she's drinking and she's not eating and la 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 land. But I also think that's coming from a place of not genuinely being happy. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of them, obviously Adriana isn't as happy as she could be. Same thing with Julia and Martina, so a lot of them are not as happy as they are saying that they are, or maybe not even saying that they are. I think Dr. Nicole is pretty happy though. I think she's having her best life. I think she's loving being engaged and all of that stuff. I think Dr. Nicole's pretty happy, but let me know what you guys think with that, okay? And who would you consider the fakest on the Real Housewives of Miami? I don't even know. Do we even care? I don't know. Put it down below. But before you guys do that and stick around my candy canes, we have one more story and then I'm going to take your candy cane questions and comments. So before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video. Oh, actually, before you do that, I have a question. What do you guys think about the essence of the fight between Larsa and Andy over the word bastard? I personally think it's derogatory and very, very, very disrespectful, not just to the parent, but to the child. Like, you would think that this day and age, people would not be that ignorant and that disrespectful to say that a child, a human being, is a bastard for any reason. Who cares if the parents weren't married? Who cares if it's a single parent? Who cares? I personally, just on a gut level, I just think it's very derogatory and disgusting and disrespectful to say that a child is a bastard for any reason. So, and I don't like it when men yell at women, but Andy, you have my permission to yell at Larsa, because Larsa, you really don't need to be talking. Just because you, like millions and millions of people, were married when you had children does not mean you have the right or the authority to call another person's child a bastard. It's really disgusting to me. And Larsa does that a lot. She goes beneath the belt. She takes things and tries to throw it in people's faces. When, for example, right, when Lisa was like, oh, Larsa's in the OnlyFans, penthouse or whatever they are, condos, blah, 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 which honestly, you are, sweetheart. And secondly, it's not that big of a deal. But then you went for this woman's jugular, being like, you have a mortgage and you have this and da-da-da-da, and your husband, da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's true. It's a common theme that Larsa goes, she's like a Candace. Well, she's like how Candace used to be. It's one thing to have shade. It's one thing to have tea. It's one thing to have a tit for a tat. But you don't have to go all the way down to the bowels of hell to gut someone because they said something to you that you didn't like, that maybe triggered your insecurities. Like, I don't know. On this one, I'm Team Andy. I'm Team Julia on this one. Larsa, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. And you better watch yourself with that. Because what if one of your children has a child out of wedlock? Are you going to consider your grandchild a bastard? Because the way the world is right now, a lot of people aren't even getting married. And honestly, who freaking cares? Is Andy's children bastards because he's a gay man who chose to have children on his own terms? Because he wanted to be a father, and that's such a beautiful thing. Were you saying his children were bastards? You better be careful, Larsa. You really better be careful. While you out here sleeping with your friend's children. Yes, Michael Jordan's son and his wife's son, you and Scotty were friends with them. Maybe not best friends, but at least socially, and now you're having sex with their child. That's disgusting. I don't care that he's a quote an adult. I get it. He's a grown man. He's probably in his 20s, maybe early 30s. I don't know. I'm sure. But you're still sleeping with your friend's child. So maybe you need to look in the mirror before you talk about anybody else's children. Anyway, put it down below. I want to know what you guys think, okay? I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below and stick around, Candy Canes, because I want to take some of your Candy Cane questions and comments, but we have one more story to cover. So before we do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below. Join our newsletter. It is 100% for free. Check out our podcast, books, movies, and more. Let's go. Now, let's talk about our last story, which is